Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon. Hello from wherever you're listening to our podcast for today. So today's episode from IKIGAI International is from Egypt. And today we're having with us Ahmed Al-Hindawi, who is an ELT professional who has been active for over 15 years. And we're going to talk about the Ikigai and most specifically Ahmed's Ikigai. And as a quick reminder for whoever is listening to the Ikigai season and episode this time, should know that the Ikigai is a Japanese concept, or let's say a strategy for seeing one's purpose in life. And these series are related to ELT professionals, and I'll let my guest introduce himself. So hello, Ahmed.
Hello, Yousra. I'm very happy to be with you today in Ikigai. Thank you so much for inviting me to join and to have this chance to talk with you today. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Ahmed Al-Hindawi. I am an English ELT professional for more than 15 years. I have experience in teaching English offline and online to adults and children all over Egypt. And very happy to share my experience with you today, what I've learned throughout these years, what my mission in life is, and share my opinion, and ready to listen to your question, Yousra. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ahmed. So this session will be like a friendly conversation together, and I'm really so happy, Ahmed, because I've recognized you online, and I'm really curious to know more about your background, and I think our listeners as well would like to know more about your expertise and your experience when it comes to teaching English, and how far is it to teach online and in person. So first, Ahmed, I'd like to ask you, why did you choose your actual profession, so to be an English language teacher?
Well, first, English was my dream. I dreamed to be an English teacher since I was let's say in primary school. That was my favorite subject, and that was the language I like to speak with my brothers, sisters, everyone around me. Next, when I was at school, actually, it was the subject that I felt that I am so creative in it. So that's why I love English since I was a child, actually. It started as a hobby. I like to speak it, to talk it with my neighbors, with my friends, and then it developed as, let's say, a career since maybe when I joined university.
Great. And how did it all start with the career path? So we all know that even if you study English at university, you can have a variety of career paths. For example, you can be an interpreter, you can be a teacher, you can work within a multinational context. But what made you choose teaching as a profession more specifically?
Oh, that have a story. Okay, let me tell you about that. Actually, I could not imagine myself as an English teacher at all. I hated teaching. To be honest, it was like, I'm not gonna put myself in like a teacher position, and they go under a lot of stress. So that wasn't my first choice. My first choice was to be a tour guide. So when I finished my college in English department, I decided to be a tour guide. So we have lots of places in Egypt, like Sharm el-Sheikh, Dahab, lots of places with tourists. So I decided to spend my first year after graduation as a tour guide. I liked it very much, and then I switched to another job which was completely away from teaching as well, which was information technology and handling with computers and so on. I tried everything to stay away from teaching job, and I ended up just as a teacher.
And why did you wanted to avoid being a teacher? Like, I know you mentioned a lot of things, but is it just a prejudice, whatever you've been hearing about the teaching, let's say, profession? What kind of prejudice, were you exposed to when it comes to teaching? Or, was it because of an example, a model you've been in, you've been exposed to, you hated the stress maybe the teachers are going through? So what made you think so about teaching as a profession?
Yeah, for me teaching, yes, actually that's a good question. For me teaching is a huge responsibility. You're responsible in front of the teachers, in front of the parents, and moreover you're responsible in front of yourself to deliver something that is unique, that is specific, that is good for the students. So it's always a huge responsibility that I was that time not ready to take. But then after I learned, I discovered that it's one of the most interesting jobs ever you can have ever. It's to be able to make somebody understand something, or to make somebody acquire knowledge, becomes a new person. So it was really, really worth it when I decided to take the profession and start my career.
Well, there is another point that I want to discuss with you, is that teachers, they don't teach for the income, but they teach for the outcome. Let's say, what makes the teaching profession interesting? Let me reframe my question. How do you think teachers change lives? So to keep it short, how can we as teachers change lives? So do you think so?
Of course. If not teachers who change lives, who else? We make the society, we make the doctors, we are responsible of the generation that is to come. Doctors, engineers, everyone around us needs a teacher. You need a teacher at a phase of your life. You start with your family, your own parents, then your friends, then your the elder people in your family. Throughout our life, we always need to be coached. We need to be taught. We need to be students. We are students, as you know. They say you're still a student even if you are a teacher or a master.
All right. So another question that you have triggered through your comment is that do you think now the role of teachers has changed, especially with the AI and the widespread technology, open resources? So don't you think that the role of teachers has changed, and the students, they need less of a, let's say, a didactic model of a teacher and more of a facilitator? So do you see, how do you see the teaching profession now with the AI?
I see that a lot has changed during the last 10 years. The path of knowledge is no longer based on textbooks and just teaching on board and all that stuff. No, now you are responsible to acquire the new knowledge, because we are in a fast-growing world. Everything changes around us so fast. You have to search, you have to rely on technology like ChatGPT. Now everything depends on it, and the mindset of the generation, the upcoming generation mindset is different from ours. So unless we update ourselves regularly, we have to follow and to catch them on their way.
Great. So this made me talk about transferable skills. And transferable skills, they are related not only to students, but also to teachers. If I ask you, Ahmed, what are the set of skills that you think you have developed all through your career path, and especially now as an online teacher? So what are the set of skills, your transferable skills, let's say?
Okay, let's say Basically, you have to have a basic knowledge of computers and information technology, as well as how to teach online, as well as how to manage problems. If you have like an issue when you are teaching, how are you going to handle this problem? How are you going to like search and extract the information while giving the lesson? How are you going to modify the information while you are giving the lesson? How to prepare your, let's say, lots of people now prepare through the ChatGPT, their lessons, and so basic information, knowledge about computers, that's one. Online teaching requires lots of skills as well. And then how to fuse this into an actual lesson that you're still going to teach. You're still gonna interact with the students. You're still gonna show them the new material that you've collected and share and take their impressions and feedback. So the whole process is now like we can say a lot easier, but we can say complicated, that needs lots of things to be involved in.
And Ahmed, allow me to ask you a question now about ChatGPT, since you mentioned this. Honestly, I'm not really 100% for using ChatGPT for lesson planning, so I'll tell you why. Because teachers, they can rely on ChatGPT sometimes in class for brainstorming activities with students, but when it comes to using ChatGPT, it is good to use it, but it is most importantly, it should be mentioned as a resource, because you said a lot of teachers, they're using ChatGPT. That is nice, that is good, that is part of really a growth mindset, but it's good also to mention this for the credibility of teachers and for the ethical approach. So, because information is open, but it's good to mention this as a resource. And I'm sure you agree with me on this point. So,
yes.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think, Ahmed?
Okay, it needs to be tailored to a point. We don't say that you should like blindly follow what ChatGPT tells you, but you're a teacher. You are creating a creative outset product, something finally you need to modify it as your goals. So you still the teacher, you still the controlling of what to teach, in control of what to teach. So actually, it just help you with the quick information that you can get. Of course, it's not like doing a usual search, because you need to like modify what are you asking ChatGPT for, what is the level of the students, what is the context. So if you preset all of these settings before you do your search on ChatGPT, that will mostly yield good results with you that you can use in the class. Of course, I'm not saying to rely on it 100%, but tailor it as you need and according to your needs and to your teaching plan.
Yeah, yes, sure. And especially like all the open AI technology nowadays, it is also receptive to feedback. It's not 100% credible. So even those websites, they ask from teachers and from professionals and from whoever is using the platform for feedback so that they can improve it accordingly. And I agree 100% with what you said, Ahmed. So going back to talk about the skills and the transferable skills, Ahmed, I want you to tell me more about the ELT communities, let's say, keep this in plural, that you are active in, and what do you think are your utmost skills that your ELT community needs from you? So what do you provide as an ELT professional?
That's a good question. Actually, involving in an ELT community nowadays is something important for a teacher to be able to follow up and catch with the new things. I was honored in the last month or something to join and be friends with lots of ELT professionals, including you, of course, Yousra.
Thank you.
You were a great
Pleasure of
addition
mine.
to my network, and lots of others people. Actually, we had a conference here in Egypt, and this conference is like it happens every year. It's called Nile TESOL, and it's a great way for professionals to meet and collaborate and share their experience. So it's important. A teacher should always build a strong network. I believe in the quest of building a strong network for a teacher to share and acquire information. So it's very important, if you ask me.
How far is it important to be part of the community?
It's far as long as a human. It's like a mini society. That's what I call it. A mini society of people who share 90% of your views. They have the same maybe hobbies, the same goals and views about the things that you are working on or teaching. So it's very important, if you ask me. Actually, if you don't have a strong network, you'll fall down without being updated. As a person, you update yourself on Facebook, right? You share your experience, and if you get that from like 10 or 20 people around you, that's awesome.
That's great. That's great. Good to hear from your point of view about the importance of communities of practice, let's say, because Nile TESOL and all teacher associations, they're hosting teachers like you, like I'm part of Nile TESOL as well. I'm a member. I've joined it recently. And all of us, regardless of the geographical location, so we're active. And nowadays, internet makes it easy for teachers to come along together. Like, for example, in our case, you are from Egypt and I'm from Tunisia, and we got in touch on Facebook, and it's amazing how you share your work and how we interact and we learn from each other. And the importance of communities of practice, they are like, I see them as a backbone to any teacher. So it's like we learn from each other. We don't have necessarily to agree with each other so that we can learn from each other. We don't have to share a lot of things together so that we can learn from each other. Diversity makes it great for us so that we evolve. For example, you present a set of skills and I present maybe different set of skills, and the exchange make it a nice and a good experience so that we can learn from each other. So we call it the interchange that happens between teachers. And talking about what the world needs from you, Ahmed. So remember, we're talking about the Ikigai as well. So what do you think are the set of services you can present to, not the ALT community this time, but to your students, to whoever is interested to Ahmed's services? So what do you teach online?
Okay, let's say that I'm a bit of a computer guy. Information technology is one of my interests. So if you want to develop yourself, not just on the basic level of language, but also about, like, let's say, search skills, about how to get information, extract information online, maybe be able to teach online. I recently trained some teacher to use Zoom and how to get the material, how to use the PowerPoint and so on. So my interest is always like English through the new technology. So I can get paid for that. If you make a broader term, English through technology, through apps, through websites, through networks, through online teaching. So that's my it gets like this is my passion. Use technology and involve it or join it with teaching English. That's it. I think that's my passion.
Yeah, I can see it in your Ikigai diagram as your mission and passion as well. And you're good at dealing with using technology, and that's what's mentioned as your career path as well for your Ikigai diagram. And let us remember that all this podcast is based on scientific evidence, and that Ahmed, I think you've discovered a lot of, let's say, sides of your personality, of your skills through the Ikigai test that you did. And I can see that you have a lot of skills apart from teaching Ahmed. And how do you think you're going to implement in order to discover some of the new skills? So for example, if I tell you, what are the new skills that surprised you when you saw them on your diagram?
Actually, it was great. The test was very, very appealing for me. I liked how it asked me, even if the questions were irrelevant to my personality or my job, I think it was like meant to measure some mental skills and some other social skills and so on. So yes, I think the diagram expresses me at the present, and from this point on or forward into the future, it means that I will follow this path exactly, to teach English through technology and through networking online. And I think that diagram is useful to follow and to set goals upon, or plans upon this diagram. It would be very good.
For example, like a skill that you consider maybe refining in the future, apart from teaching, one skill.
One skill, I like maybe to cook. I like to be able how to cook, yes.
Mm-hmm. So do you do this like on a daily basis? So allow me to ask you this question, or do you rely on your family to cook for you? I know that here the mindset is different, so it depends on how you see it. Like I'm not going to classify this as gender roles, but like if you mentioned that you cooking, you consider this as a skill. So are you practicing the skill on a daily basis, or like just
no, just for the
amateur?
time now? Yes, I do it when I have time. But I recently learned how to make pizza, and that was an awesome experience for me. Of course I rely on my family, because once you get busy with your work and everything and teaching, you have no time to feed yourself. But that's really something. It's also, let's link it, Yousra, to also creativity and passion of learning and teaching. You're a teacher. If you want to learn, you could listen to another teacher. Why not listen to another like chef or cook that teaches you a new recipe, something delicious, very delicious, you're going to eat in a minute. And then you have to put all your creativity and planning into this piece of pizza and how to get it like in the most delicious way for everyone. So it appeals to me, and I like it as a part of my hobby. And yes, it follows the same pattern fashion.
Okay, so the question here is that there's something else that I'll ask you about cooking and teaching, but before that, so you mentioned that we get busy in our lives, and everyone is busy, Ahmed. You know, the person who cooks for you might be working as well, and you work. So, but you should. This is to tell you that, and Ramadan is the opportunity to tell you this: we should help equally. Like everybody's working, and I don't see cooking as part of a gender role. So I'm not going to deal with this more of a feminist, let's say. But I'll just keep this as from another point of view. Let's see, let's compare cooking to teaching, if you allow me to do this. How can you see the process of blending the ingredients and cooking and baking it? So how can you compare cooking to teaching?
Okay, all right. Well, both of these skills needs preparation, needs lots of information gathering, and at the most, they need trial and error. And of course, I can't do that to my family, so I have to stay away from trial and error in cooking. So,
Yes. So that they won't be having anything to eat by the end of the day.
Actually, I don't want to give them something that's maybe bad for them. So stay off from trial and error in cooking. I do it like my own. If I want to try the pizza, I'll try it first, or maybe see if it's delicious or something. But the same point that you mentioned, Yousra, it's like the same basic structure of every skill: trial and error, planning, gathering information, creativity, how to put yourself in the place of the chef or the cook, how to maybe ask for advice sometimes, like when you ask some people to advise you. So I sometimes call my sister, hey, I think I put too much salt in this pizza, so how much should I put? So she will tell me. That's an example of a network. So that's exactly what you need to do.
If I now compare a meal to a lesson, let's say, what was the best meal you've prepared, and what was the best lesson, let's say, you've prepared to your students? A lesson that you're proud of and you want to share it now with us.
Okay, actually, the best lesson is the lesson that I feel that I am introducing new information to students.
For example?
Like lessons about the environment, recycling, about how to be good as new humans living in the 21st century, and how to be like an active students that participate in protecting not only the environment around us, but protecting ourselves from the impacts of the technology and the future, the industry, and so on. And exactly, it's like a meal that you prepare, a healthy meal that you prepare.
Okay. So now we're talking about the sustainable approach. So you've been telling me how far a lesson should be teaching the responsible and collective approach to your students. And this makes us talk about the SDGs and the sustainable approach, is that to teach students how to be better citizens and to teach them how to deal with the environment in a friendly way. And last but not least, Ahmed, I'd like to ask you a question about a professional milestone that you're proud of. Like, can you recall a moment you've shared something with others, better, like whether is it with students or teachers, and you made others happy through knowledge you shared, through a tip or a piece of advice you shared with others, so something you consider valuable you shared with other people?
Yes, actually, as a professional milestone, recently I was chosen by a board in the UK to be responsible to teach adults who are in professions like maybe, say, carpenters, electricians, and everything about, of course, English as the first thing, and the second thing about how to be sustainable within your career, how to use sustainable material. So I'll start this job as soon as Ramadan ends, and it's a great opportunity for me to teach these professions to these adults.
Best of luck, Ahmed. And now is the time for the surprise question. So I displayed it for you, so I'll give you time to read it, and if you agree, you can answer this question, and I'll be glad to hear more about this part about Ahmed.
Yes, surprise, surprise. What are the challenges of online teaching and your journey as a solo teacher? Oh, that's a good question, actually. Uh, Surprise, it's full of surprises. You always get things, as you can see in my Ikigai. Okay, what I love, what's my mission, what's my passion. If you get all of this and tailor it to what the world needs from you, okay, you not only going to overcome the challenges in your profession, but you will always can be successful. So my current challenges are, number one, I need to spread my knowledge more. I need to reach to more students around the world. It's a goal for me. It's to build a new network and a strong one to share my knowledge with others. I need to be heard. As a teacher, we need to be heard, Yousra. That we need to be heard not only within our community, but to the world. So that's my challenge right now.
Being heard is really important. So, do you think being heard is equally important to listening to others? So let me reframe my questions. Like being heard, listening to others. So is it a one-way process, or do you think it's interchangeable?
Of course it's interchangeable. If you want to be here, you have to listen to others. You have to get the same equal amount of attention that you need from them and to give it to them. So it's actually a mutual process that needs to be done from both parties.
Good.
So yes, of course, I agree with you.
All right, so this leads us to the last part of our Ikigai podcast for today. So, Ahmed, so allow me to tell you that I was really pleased to listen to you today and talk to you more and know more about you. And I'm really interested to stay in touch with you, learn more from you, and follow up with your Ikigai in the future. And thank you very much for accepting my invitation in today's podcast. And I hope this won't be the first and the last occasion where we talk together like this. And you're really welcome to share whatever you know. And I'm really sure that the ELT community is really learning a lot from you, and I wish you best of luck for the future. So do you want to add anything, Ahmed, before we
Thank you
end
so
up
much,
the session?
Yousra, for having me here today, and I really wish you all the success in the world, in your profession and your career, and I'll be happy to join you one more time in Ikigai and talk about a different topic in the future. Thank you so much, Yousra.
And thank you, and I hope really we can collaborate maybe in the future and within the ELT communities, or like for you as a solo teacher. So thank you very much, Ahmed, and best wishes for the future. And goodbye to everyone who's listening to us, and thank you very much for listening. And talk to you soon in our upcoming and next episode from IKIGAI International. Today's episode was from Egypt. And thank you very much, everyone. And stay safe and stay blessed. Bye-bye.